ഓക്കെ 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 എന്നാൽ ഞാൻ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്ത് സാറേ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ കൊടുക്കും ഒറ്റ മിനിറ്റ് ഞാൻ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്താണ് സാറേ ആ ലിങ്ക് കയറി യൂട്യൂബ് ലിങ്കിൽ സെയിം ഇഷ്യൂ സാർ വരുന്നില്ല. റഫി സാറൊന്ന് വിളിക്കറോ സാറേ ആ മറ്റേ ഒന്നും കൂടെ ആ ഫോർവേഡ് എടുത്തിട്ട് അതിന് ലിങ്ക് ഒന്നും കൂടെ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യും. ആ ഫോർവേഡിന്റെ ലിങ്ക് ഒന്നും കൂടെ ലിങ്ക് മാറിയിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. ഒന്ന് ഷെയർ ആ സാർ അറിയും. ഇല്ല 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 ഞാൻ ലിങ്ക് ഇപ്പോൾ അയച്ചിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒന്ന് ഇടുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ ഒരു ലിങ്കിലൊന്ന് കയറി നോക്കൂ. കട്ടേ ലിങ്ക് പോരും. ഓക്കെ സാറേ സെറ്റ്. പക്ഷെ വേറെ വിഷയം, പിന്നെ ഞാൻ ഇന്നലെ അയച്ച മെസ്സേജ് ഒന്ന് പെട്ടെന്ന് എഡിറ്റ് ചെയ്തൊക്കെയാണ്. വലിയ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യടാ. ഓക്കെ 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 സാർ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടോ നിങ്ങൾ? സാർ ഇതൊന്ന് ആക്സെപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യും. പിന്നെ ഞാൻ യൂട്യൂബിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പറഞ്ഞ ലിങ്ക് അതൊന്ന് ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്യണം. ലിങ്ക് മാറി
വലിയവരൊക്കെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യിപ്പിക്കല്ലേ
നാളെന്തെല്ലാം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു കേട്ടോ.
ശരിയാ
ഒന്നിനൊക്കെ ശമ്പളം ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. ഇത് നമ്മളോടല്ലേന്ന് പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ? ആ വാട്സപ്പിൽ അയച്ചു കൊടുത്തത് മെയിലായി അയച്ചു കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ചെയ്ത് പറ്റാണ് മെയിൽ അയക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. ആ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസിനൊക്കെ മെയിൽ എത്തിക്കണം. ആളുകൾ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കണം.
ആ കുറച്ച് മുമ്പ് എത്തും ഞാനേ കുറച്ച് മുമ്പ് എത്താം ഞാൻ പ്രോഗ്രാം
വീഡിയോ കിട്ടില്ല. പിന്നെ അത് സ്റ്റോക്ക് സ്ട്രീമിംഗ് കൊടുത്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പ്രോഗ്രാം തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ കൊടുത്താൽ മതി. Sebentar. സംസാരം മുഹമ്മദ് അസ്ലാം ലൈവ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തോ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തു ഇനോഗ്രേഷൻ വീഡിയോ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല അതെ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാം എന്താ അവിടെ ഓട്ടില്ല ഷെൽഫ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം വീഡിയോ ഓണാക്കട്ടോ Good afternoon all. Welcome to the webinar on corporate sustainability performance organized by PG Department of Commerce, Majlis Arts and Science College, Purumanur. Today our seminar will be inaugurated by Honorable MLA of Kottakkal constituency, Professor Habib Hussain Tangal. Since the time is 2:15, we have to start our session. Let me move on to the official formality of welcome address. Respected Principal Dr. Muhammad Ali, esteemed MLA of Kottakkal, Professor Habib Hussain Tangal, Resource person of the day, Mr. Muhammad Aslam, Director of the college, Dr. Safir Atikadan, Vice Principal, Professor Supi sir. A very good afternoon, all of you. I know that since the inception of this international webinar, there was heavy demand from various corners of the world. I'm sure that it is because of the demand of the subject, demand of the topic we have selected. Today, we have this session on corporate sustainability performance. We know that it is a most relevant topic to be discussed today. As we know, the sustainability of a company in the present scenario is very much related with the contribution by the company to the environment protection and to the society as well. So what company do at present is to contribute to the environment protection to their level best by introducing modern practices. We know that social responsibility is another term which demand more attraction nowadays, especially in the light of New Companies Act 2013. In short, we know that the topic is very much relevant. Anyway, I am not going to prolong my welcome address. Let me go into the formality. Today we have our eminent personality who will be inaugurating the program, who will be inaugurating this webinar, our Honorable MLA of Kottakkal constituency, Professor Abid Hussain Tangal. Let me heartily welcome Professor Abid Hussain Tangal. We have our resource person today, Mr. Muhammad Aslam. He is one of the personality from Anadolu University of Turkey. He is with us for presenting today's topic. Welcome Mr. Muhammad Aslam sir to this webinar. We have the presence of our respected principal Dr. Muhammad Ali sir. I hearty welcome to Dr. Muhammad Ali sir to this webinar. We have our director Dr. Safir sir, Vice Principal Supi sir, and my dear colleagues, all other participants of the webinar. Welcome to this webinar and enjoy the session. Have a nice day. Let me invite Dr. Muhammad Ali, our beloved principal, for the principal's address. Please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rafiq sir, the head of the Department of Commerce, Majlis Arts and Science College, Puramannu. At the very outset, let me congratulate the Postgraduate Department of Commerce, its head of the department, and all the faculty members and students for organizing an international webinar on a very beautiful topic that is related to the current scenario. As you know, the corporate sustainability is relevant today than any period in the past, especially the 11th August. You know, these are the last hours to respond to the environmental impact policy of our great nation. Not only the citizens of our country have responsibility for the sustainability of the environment, society, for the corporate world, sustainability of the society as well as the economic scenario and the environment. All these are very vital. People and the corporate sector should be aware and should do their responsibilities for the transparency and their commitment for a sustainable business environment. The green business environment is very important in today's business world. We have various developmental activities in our business sectors also. E-commerce and also various new platforms for business is flourishing today. Along with all developments, the ethics of business towards not only business environment but to the commitment towards environment is also very vital. We know that there are various products involved in the business. Unless you show the ethics in the business, you can't protect the interests of the future generation. Business we can select, we can operate, but always it should be by keeping the prospects of the future generation in our mind always. Therefore, the policy adopted should always be sustainable policies which will protect the environment, the society, and the economy of the country. With these few words, once again, let me congratulate the department for selecting a very suitable topic to debate, to discuss, and to deliberate. And also, we wish good luck to all of you, all the participants, and we are fortunate to have a very resourceful person from Turkey for the session. With these few words, now I invite the esteemed resource person, Mr. Aslam, for inauguration. Also, the inauguration is by our member of Legislative Assembly, Professor Abid Hussain Tangal, and I request our esteemed MLA to please come forward for the inauguration. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Ali sir, our respected principal. Next is our inauguration session. Inauguration. We are going to our inauguration. Due to some difficulty, MLA's live speech will not be available. He already shared a video. Let's watch that video of inauguration. Presence screen. Phone ഓഡിയോയില്ലല്ലേ?
കുട്ടീനല്ലേ സ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് അതെ ആ നീല പാത്രത്തില് ഇട്ട് വെച്ചു മുടി ഇതാക്കണ ഒരു കുറ്റി വെച്ചിട്ടില്ലേ
Due to some technical difficulty, MLA's voice is not audible to all of you. Sorry, the inconvenience in this regard is highly regretted. Anyway, let me directly welcome Mr. Mohammad Aslam to lead the session. Aslam sir, please.
I hope. Hello.
Okay, sir, audible, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Since we are actually living in a very busy world, and we are actually shifting to the technological like communication, there must be some issues regarding that. So I understood. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, and thank you so much. I can see almost 98 people are actually joined for this. This is rare, this in this situation, even though we are actually not doing anything in the home, but still it's very hard to be in front of a system and waiting for someone to speak. So I really appreciate your patience for that. So before not taking too much time, let me start my session. So I'll try to share my screen. So yeah. Yeah, since I can't see the audience when I'm actually playing, can anybody tell that you're visible with the slide?
Yes, sir, visible. It is clear.
Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know who said, but really thank you so much for that. So yeah. Okay, yeah. So I hope I'm actually starting by hoping that it's really visible. I'm actually in the first slide. So I think I don't need to give an introduction about myself. My name is Muhammad Aslam. I'm actually a research scholar in Anadolu University, which is located in Turkey. So the principal actually gave really an introduction about why we have to discuss about corporate sustainability performance. And we have a plethora of reasons why do we have to discuss about sustainability. We are actually living in a situation where you take any industry, you take any sector, whether it is health sector, education, or you take finance, you take tourism, we are actually talking about sustainability. Or you take any other sectors, like, just take a same example of that health sector. We are really going through a toughest time. Let's take environment. We are actually going through very toughest time, same too, because in 2000, at the starting of 2010, we were discussing about, is climate change real? We were discussing like that. But in 2020, after 10 years, we're actually talking that it is real. We are facing and we are actually witnessing so many things. So now there is no doubt in discussing about, should we discuss about sustainability? This is the right time to discuss, because if we didn't start discussing about sustainability now, we may not have the better time to discuss about it later. So before, let me take you back to the traditional concept of consumption. Everybody is familiar with this term called consumption, right? We produce things and we use it and we'll waste it. That was what happened before, or that what still happening nowadays. But the experts, the researchers are actually coming with a new term called, you need to start with recycling, and you need to, that's how it works. You need to reuse it, you need to reduce it, and you need to recycle it. Why we do have to do that? Because the populations are increasing. That will keep increasing from now on, but the natural resources will not. So the only way we have to do is that we need to be sustainable in nature. So this is what I have to give you as an introduction. Why do we have to discuss about sustainability? So this is the content which I actually wanted to discuss in this session. And since we have a time limit, I hope I'll be able to cover all the things. We may have to discuss about what is sustainability in business, which is called corporate sustainability performance. And I'll be making it so short as CSP is what researchers are actually calling it as. The elements, what are the elements we have in CSP, and why do we have to discuss CSP in business? Because I hope everybody is learning, studying business, accountancy, finance. We are all part from the the management oriented people. Why do we have to discuss about sustainability? Is it just for the people who are actually cared about the environment, or aren't we caring about environment? And next term is CSR. This is, I think, a bit more a familiar term, you can say, because more people are actually aware about CSR. And how can we integrate CSR with CSP? And does business exist for purpose or profit? That is a question. We are actually interested to discuss more about it. And how do we measure sustainability? This is what I really wanted to cover in this short of time. So before going to the term called corporate sustainability performance, I want you to know more about this term sustainability. Why am I going to the basic? Because we have different people from different areas. We have respected teachers, and we have students from undergrads and like masters. We have research scholars. We have different people from different areas. So I just want to level up the knowledge. And I'm really sorry for the people who are actually listening things which they already know. And I hope they will bear with me for that. So according to the Brenland Commission, what they have mentioned about sustainability is simply you fulfill your current needs without compromising for the future. To make it short, you are actually doing whatever you want in current scenario. Okay, you take whatever you want, but don't forget the resources which you are taking also need to be dealt with the future. This is simply what sustainability is. So make it more interesting. I think everybody is using social media, I guess, and everybody is aware about what are happening around. Let me take you to this concept: environmental impact assessment. I think majority of the people must be heard about this term because social media is keep talking about EIA. Right? Everybody, even though our mainstream medias are not much covering about this, but our social medias actually started talking. So what is EIA? Why people are so much pissed off regarding this EIA? So I want you to give a brief, I'm still going back to the concept that you must be heard about it, but still I'm giving you just to make sure that everybody is on the same floor. So let's go back to the evolution of EIA. How did this came into the power? Or how did this came into our legal frame of India? So during 1976 and 1977, the Planning Commission started discussing about, do we really need a legal framework to protect our environment? And when that happened, when the dam construction started across the country, and they were a bit nervous, will it affect the environment? Will it affect the rivers? Will it affect the water, water, storage and all? Will it affect that? So they were a bit nervous about, environment at that time. So what happened? You must be heard about Bhopal disaster in 1984. When that happened, people started talking more about that exploitation of industry in society and in environment. So during that time, in 1986, after 2 years, there is a new legal framework came into power, that is Environment Protection Act, which was giving legal protection to the natural resources. They started giving restriction to the industry. That's how this started. That's how the government started discussing about why do we need a legal framework to protect the environment. After that, 1994, this became environmental impact assessment, which is we are actually now we are discussing about EIA. So in 2006, more specifically in 2006, they actually given the guidelines, the proper announcement, what an industry should do in society, what they should do in the environment if they're actually playing with them, what they should do, what they should not. For example, to make it more simple, if anybody is coming into your society or in your village and they wanted to start a company, and they must be taking the resource from the society for sure. Maybe water, maybe trees, maybe anything in different forms. They have to go through different procedures. They have to get clearance from EIA by convincing that they are not exploiting in more than the limited, the limits they have. For example, they have a particular limit of using water, They must be having a particular limit of cutting trees. So everything is actually restricted. So we are all talking about the guidelines. Why do we have to discuss about EIA now? What is the matter with EIA now in 2020? The draft which is proposed, which is not came into power, but still, which is actually proposed by central government, what they are saying is that so many restrictions has been lifted away. That's the place where the problem started. Almost 70 industries are actually excluded from the restriction. It means that all those companies will be having easy going towards starting a business. They can simply come to the village, or they can go to the forest. They can go and access the environment for the business purpose. One thing, we need production in our country. We need employability. We need profit-making companies, because we need to have our people to get employed. Definitely, because we are business people. We are actually dealing with business like theories. We are actually learning business. We are talking about accountancy. We are talking about finance. All are connected with the business. But this should not happen with the cost of environment, because no matter what, at the end, we are also part of society. So these issues are actually so sensational nowadays. I'm not going too deep, because you can definitely go through different social media. And why we have to discuss today, because tomorrow is the last day to get the feedback from the people, and they'll be taking care of it, I hope. And so this is what I want to give you a brief introduction about EIA. And since we don't have time too much about this, I'm actually skipping this part. So let's go back to the square one. Why do we have to learn about sustainability in corporate, right? You must be heard about this term called continuity. This is an assumption in when you study your accountancy, you must be familiar with this term called continuity, which means that when a company come into power, or when your company done with the registration, they believe that they are here for the continuous purpose. They operate in continuous, or they actually focusing long-term purpose. They are not here for few months. Nobody will start a company just for few days or few months, even except some conditions are applied. Every company wanted to retain in the market. They need to operate in consistent manner. So sustainability talking the same. You use your resources by thinking that you have to operate in a long-term manner. Also, in short, long story short, what corporate sustainability means that to remind the company that they are also part of. I'm really sorry, whoever is using the microphone, can you please mute it off? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, corporate sustainability shortly means that use the resources by thinking that the company is a part of society, company is a part of environment, and you take resource from the society and you have the responsibility to give them back in different form. So this is what sustainability in corporate world means. So let's make it more interesting. Okay. I think somebody's actually turned on the microphone.
Hello, all participants, please put off your mic. Hello. Shanaz, actually Aishwarya Menon, please put off your mic.
I can really understand the situation, but still it will be a bit disturbance when you're speaking. But yeah, I think I need to continue this. Yeah, you must be familiar with this guy, right? Whoever wanted to be a rich guy, they'll be keeping his picture in the wallpaper and they'll be thinking like that, thinking rich. Yeah, Steve Jobs, founder of Apple. which we all are like, we are actually an inspiring like personality. He is in different way. So the former dean of Harvard Business School, you must be heard about this HBS, right? The former dean of HBS, when he was talking to his students regarding how to make profit, he made a statement simply: if you are dealing with, or if you are actually focusing on profit, the best way to focus on profit is not directly, focus indirectly. Why did I say this? Because here, Steve is the best example of that. Okay, you take his interviews, you take his statement, you take any of his public speech or public statement, you will never ever see single statement focusing on, okay, you go get profit. He'll never ever say that. He will be talking about quality, he'll be talking about environment, he'll be talking about society, he'll be talking about the economic activities, such a way that how to promise you a job to the community, something like that. Why is he so much concerned about other aspects rather than focusing on profit? He made profit. He was the you still take the statistics. He's coming in the best picture of the best entrepreneurs in the world. His attitude towards making profit is different. This is saying that profit is not the only thing in the business. Profit is a byproduct of the quality you're making in your process. If you just focus on profit, if you are just talking about profit, I don't think, this is not just my concept. Majority of the researchers, majority of the entrepreneurs are saying that if you're only focused on profit, you will not land up in a place which you really wanted to be. Okay, make it interesting. I think there must be some Real Madrid fans over here, and I'm really sorry for the last, match, but still, I'm here for a different purpose. You know the manager, right? Zidane. So what did he do? Or what's his role? His role is to make his players in a coordinated way, right? Very hypothesis scenario. Let's take an example. For example, for the next match, Zidane said to his players, only focus on scoring. Don't focus on anything else. I will give you $1 million if you score. Okay, he told this to everybody, irrespective of the position. He told this to everybody that you don't need to care about anything else. I will give you $1 million if you score. The midfielders, the defense, or the strikers, they will not have anything in their mind. They will always thinking about how to score, right? They will not think about the coordination. They will not think about the, passing the ball. They'll only think about how to score. What will happen at the end? I think most probably they will lose the match, because football is not just about scoring, right? Football is all about the coordination. I think I'm talking to the right audience. So, the land of soccer. So you must be knowing that very well. So football is not just about making, goals. It's all about the coordination. It's all about that healthy conversation you have in between. So this is what exactly in business. If you focus on just profit, you will not land up in a place you really wanted to be. Business is all about how to maintain the trade-off between economic activities with socio-environmental activities. That's what we talk about corporate sustainability. This circle is giving you the framework of CSP, which is corporate sustainability performance. It talks about economic activities, economic sustainability activities. It talks about social sustainability activities. It also talks about environmental sustainable activities. If you miss something, if you miss one, you will not land up in a good place. You need to combine this together. Then only you will come up with the best result you can ever think of. So let's go in one by one. Social sustainability performance. There are different dimensions you can measure to have social sustainability performance. You can talk about the ethics they have towards towards society, the customer satisfaction, the justice they are making to the company, or to the audience also the workspace diversity. So just to make you more understand in real situation, this is the part, just one portion of like annual report of Wipro. You must be heard about this company, right? Wipro. So technology company it is. So in the annual report, if you go to the website, you will be able to access the annual report. This is the annual report of 2019, and they have given the annual report, and this is a one particular area in the annual report. They have mentioned about workplace sustainability. They talked about the employee engagement they had. They talked about the diversity they have. They talked about the well-being and safety measure they have done. They also talked about the career management activity they have done. Let me take you one particular among this. 35% of the workspace constitute women. Why they mentioned it separately? Because this is not usual in Indian context. We still have the problem with gender equality. So they mentioned because they wanted to convince their audience that they are doing something good in the society. This is exactly an evidence of, the social sustainability. This is sustainable activity because this gives you a long-term advantage. The audience, the people like me and you will have a positive attitude towards the company that, okay, they are doing good. So I was simply putting a like recent example, like, you must be, we all have witnessed a very sad incident happened in the the Calicut airport. When that incident happened yesterday, that Air India company, the company, they actually, right, they have that like company policies. They announced, or they actually published a thanking notice to the people from Malapur. That's how you show that your respect towards the community, right? They have done mistakes, like their operational mistakes that happened. That's really saddening. But as a company, they have the responsibility to show the respect and the empathy towards the community. Those are actually coming under the socially being aware. So next one, environmental sustainability performance, which is more discussed. We have discussed very clearly about EIA, which is coming actually under this one. Like you take resource from the society, right? For example, if you are a manufacturing company, you take a resource from them. You have the responsibility to give them back in different form. So this is a part of annual report of Maruti, an Indian company. They have mentioned in their annual report separately regarding reduction of CO2. Why reducing CO2 became highly? Because this is actually a rule that you have to reduce CO2 as much as you can. And more you reduce, more you convincing your audience that they are actually environment friendly. So if you look at this picture, you will see that in every model, they are trying to reduce the CO2 as much as they can. This is actually how you become environmentally sustainable. This is just one example. So the next concept, the third concept is to cover up what is CSP, that economically sustainable. This is not talking about making profit. This is talking about how can you be economical. If you're a company and if you want to be sustainable, it doesn't mean that you need to make charity, you need to make donation to the community. No, be consistent, keep the cash flow. Cash flow is different from profit. Profit is what? It's a short term. Cash flow is a long term. So be consistent whatever you're doing. Don't make a bubble transaction. Don't make bubble operations. So strengthening the job which you are giving and promoting the incentive to your people and giving proper accounting standards and marketing standards are really example of economic sustainability. So these are the 4 initiatives done by Wipro: the Global 100, PRISM, Adroit, and Lead NXT. if you look at the annual report, you will understand the descriptive way of why they have actually mentioned about this. Global 100 and like Adroit, these two things actually talking about how to make your employees extraordinary in the industry. You actually hired somebody, you're not just leaving them to work, but you are taking them to next level of helping them be the next leaders. You're giving them rigorous training, you're giving them international exposures. At the end, Global 100 is an 18-month training program to help the employees to become the next the future leaders. Not every company will do that. Not every company will do that because it is actually costly. It's not easy as you think. You need to invest so much money in it. But still, Wipro, a company, believed that if you treat your if you treat your employees well, you will be able to retain them for a long term, and you will have your good image outside the company. So the Prism and the Lead NXT is actually talking about how to increase the sales by utilizing the current resources. You will, these two are actually talking about sales. You will use your current resources, training them, and be friendly with the customers. So that's what, I'm sorry, I just get confused when people are making noise. I'm really sorry for that. So these two actually giving, these four actually giving a brief idea about how can you promise job to your existing employees. This is an example of economic sustainability activities. Not every company will do better like this. So, I hope you guys understood what did I mention about the dimensions of CSP. And if you have any question, please drop in comment box. We'll be discussing about that. Since it's I can't see you guys, so I can't ask one by one questions. So why do we have to discuss about sustainability in business context? Right? It's not one day I woke up and let's discuss about CSP. No, this has been discussed from long. It's not me started discussing. It's not a few people started. Even so many research have been done. You just take the Harvard Business Review, HBR. They specifically mentioned 62% of the executives consider sustainability strategies are actually important. And this 62% is coming from the top, big companies. The 90% of the executives believe that it is important. And 60% of the companies incorporate with their strategy, and merely 25% they actually incorporated with their business model. So this is real. This is actually happening in the industry. This is actually emerging. So that's why we are actually started talking about it. So I just want to make sure that you are actually listening things which is a bit relevant, not just in the environmental scenario, but also in the corporate world. Okay. For example, in the earlier stage, if you start a business and you, for example, in 80s or 90s, and if you're telling that, okay, one thing, I started a business, and one thing, I have good intention. Earlier, they will believe and they will, he started a company and they're doing good. No, this is not going to happen recently, or this is not going to happen now. You need to prove, you need to show them that you're doing good. When you say that I'm socially, involved, I'm actually doing social sustainability performance, okay, then people will tell you, where is the report? Where is that activities you have done? We are living in a sophisticated world, which is all are accessible. So that's why I mentioned professional communication and good intentions are no longer enough. You need to show them. You need to, really show them that what you're doing. That's the reason why we are talking about CSP. This is some spin-off example that real, the reputed companies are actually doing. Nike and Adidas actually focusing on waste management, And Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and BMW, Toyota, ANZ, and Westpac, these reputed companies around the world are actually trying their hard to be, sustainable, And they believe that if you are sustainable in nature, the profit as a byproduct will come to you. The Pepsi is focusing on water stewardship, BMW, Toyota are actually focusing on energy efficiency, ANZ and Westpac actually encouraging the local communities to be sustainable. So this is some spin-off example to tell you that this is what really happening around the world. Yeah, and since I mentioned before, we have some people must be focusing on research in this audience, right? And to more discussion, I actually created a WhatsApp group yesterday, but only one person responded for that. But still, I want to give you a brief introduction about what is a research perspective in CSP. Okay, is it a new topic in the research perspective? I'll tell you no, this is not a new topic, but it is an emerging topic. More than 30 years of research has been done, but still, some researchers are saying that there is no clear-cut answer to prove that CSP will pay off. What do you mean by CSP will pay off? Means if you are sustainable, will it affect positively towards your financial performance? Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no, some people are saying in between. It may or it may not. So it's confusing. Still, the studies are actually happening in this field. And one author said that almost 78% of publication after analyzing all the things are almost 78% of publications are saying that there is a positive impact on financial performance by corporate sustainability performance. If you treat your workers well, if you treat your society well, if you treat your economic activities well, that will make you profitable in nature. That is what the 78% of applications are saying. And the same author is actually arguing that there is a tendency of authors to replace CSP with CSR. Some people are confused with corporate social responsibility with corporate sustainability performance. CSP and CSR is different. CSP is one portion of CSR, but doesn't mean that they are same. There are similarities, but it is really different. We'll have a bit discussion about CSR in the upcoming slide. I just want to show you some results they have done in the research. So if you look at this, from 2002 to 2017, you will see the incremental change in the research field, right? From 4% to 28% studies are actually done. It means that it is emerging. And when you compare the studies in developing countries with developed countries, you will see that definitely developed countries are more exploring the concept of CSP. During 2002 to 2005, there were not even a study happened in developing countries. Country like India, we actually have, a country like India, country like Turkey, we still have that opportunity to explore more about sustainability performance. And this slide is specifically for the people who are actually interested to go with research, because they must be familiar with the term called literature review, theoretical studies, and empirical studies. So if you look at the graph, you will see more empirical studies have done, very less studies in theoretical and research, literature reviews actually have done. So, you will understand where is the real need in research. This is the final research which is saying that 78% of authors are saying that if you are sustainable in nature, that will positively impact the company. More you sustain, more you're profitable. That's what 78% of the authors are saying. This is only based on one study, so you can't make complete prediction on this. So this is also for the people who are actually interested towards research. That if you are going for a research, these are the variables you can use it, which is proposed by so many researchers. that the measures for the environmental, sustainable, and economical and social measures, you can use this, and the financial measures like this, and the moderating variables. I'm not going into deep because it's a bit boring for the people who are actually beginning in this area. So I hope you understood what I said in between, and if you have any question, I really appreciate you to drop a text in the comment box so we can discuss at the end. So is it a strategy? That is the first question. People are talking about sustainability, people are talking about environment, people are talking about CSR, everything. Okay, fine. Let's focus on, is it a strategy or is it just an activity? There is a two different term, right? Strategy is different from an activity. Strategy is a plan of action which requires research before implementing. Okay, and so this is a debate happening around in this field now. Is it a strategy or is it just an activity? So let's have a look what is the authors are saying, what is people are saying. This is also based on Harvard Business Review, and I really highly recommend to read HBR articles for your reading this purpose, because they're actually giving with proper ideas. So 93% of the largest 250 companies are saying that they are actually doing sustainability reporting. They are reporting the sustainable activities. 93% of the largest 250 companies. And 78% of them already included, okay, in the financial report. 78% of them actually did. And financial performance and ESG like environmental, social, and governance, which is actually two sides of the same coin. I mean, these three are talking about which is actually treated as a strategy. This is not just an activity which people do like others. Okay, so when you talk about CSP, why most companies are actually adopting CSP activities, right? There are different reasons. The Harvard Business Review actually pointed out 4 factors which may bring CSP activities. One, they are saying that you are a company, you have pressure from your competitors, right? If you are not having pressure from your competitors, you will not retain the market. So people have the tendency to make the benchmark towards sustainability, maybe because they have pressure from the competitors, one particular reason. Another one, that they have the accounting standard board, which they are giving that, okay, you are working in this industry, you should have a particular standard. So to keep the standard, they will start working for the sustainability activities. Another reason people are saying that the companies have that attitude to imitate others. Okay, if I'm a technology company, I have the tendency to imitate whatever happening in my industry. For example, I'm a technology company. I may try to look what Google is doing, because Google is in extreme level of success in tech firm, right? So that is what people have the tendency. So the fourth factors which may influence that a CSP, that they may fight for rating. CSP is not just just do things, you will get the result. There are organizations which are focusing on rating companies based on their social activities, the sustainable activities. So the companies may have the pressure to do all these things. So this is how that HBR actually concluded. Okay, sustainability practices can also treat it as an insurance. For example, if you're sustainable in nature, people, the society will have the trust on you that, okay, this company is doing good. That will help to mitigate the risk. And then another one, that adapting the sustainability practice, which I mentioned, that company actually have the tendency to imitate others. So that by concluding this, we are sure that sustainability performance is not just an activity. It is a strategy by the company. I hope you understand. So before that, excuse me, let me have some water. I hope you guys are not got bored, and I hope you're actually getting what I'm saying. And yeah, the next discussion is about, does business exist for making profit or purpose? This is two different scenario. For example, take your life. Just take profit as the money you are making from your job, from your business or anything. Purpose is your inner peace, happiness. Okay. Are you living for the money or are you living for your inner peace? This is a debate. Some people will say, I don't care, I need money. Some people say that, some rich people are saying that, oh man, I could have more peace instead of having money. So this is a debate. This is the same happening in business scenario too. That they are saying, some people are saying that I believe companies should focus more on purpose rather than profit. Some people are saying that no, they should focus on profit. So this is a question: are we focusing on profit or are we focusing on purpose? Let's have some look. Okay, Simon Marks. Who is Simon Marks? Marks and Spencer still is a UK-based textile company. Okay, and he was the founder, and he is the one one among the founders who actually started developing this company in UK industry. So what happened in Simon Marks? He come up with a strategy that every executive of this company should go to the showroom, every showrooms in UK, and you need to observe your employees, how they are treating their customers. So this is what he proposed. As a part of the strategy, one day he went to meet his employees. He went to one random showroom to see how his employees are treating the customers. What did he find? That one of his employee fainted, fell down to the floor. Okay, then he got surprised. What happened? So he came and he asked to her, like, what happened? Why did you fall down? So she said, I didn't have my lunch. My husband is unemployed and I could not have food. So he got to know that his employees are actually not getting nutritious food. This is the problem. If there is no food, the productivity will decrease. Definitely, you can't concentrate on work if you're not eating well. So he came up with a strategy again that every employees of this company will be getting nutritious food. So this is simply talking about that you are focusing on purpose. You're not talking about profit. Giving nutritious food actually will cost, but he believed that the productivity will increase. That's what he believed for. This is one spin-off example. Another one, George W. Merck. And I hope somebody must be heard about him, because Merck pharmaceutical company is still one of the best pharmaceutical company in US. The case study, what happened? He's the founder of that company, by the way. Anybody heard about the penicillin? It's a medicine. Penicillin is a medicine which used drastically during the World War II. What happened about penicillin? That his company manufactured this drug after so much research happened and all, and this medicine got Nobel Prize. That is another highlight. Okay, so what happened when they actually invented this medicine? The competitors thought that, okay, this company is going to make so much profit because nobody knows the secret of this medicine. What happened? Surprisingly, Merck actually invited all the competitors, and he shared the secret of this drug to everybody. The industry got surprised. What did he do? He could have simply make profit, right? He made a statement that medicine is for people. Medicine is not just to make profit. We make profit by, as a side, the byproduct of the quality product we are making. And this medicine is used during the World War II, and that saved a lot of lives. This is another example of that people focus on purpose rather than profit. And I hope you guys understood, how can people focus on purpose rather than profit. So still there must be a question. Should we focus only on purpose? No. You have to make a trade-off between purpose and profit. Only by concentrating on purpose, only by doing so, you can make profit in the future. I'm talking about long-term purpose. You may be able to make profit in short run, but I'm fully focusing on that, the long run I'm talking about. Let's give a brief introduction about CSR. We must be heard about it. Like during your studies, you must have separate chapter for learning CSR. Okay, so I'm not giving more introduction about CSR. I just want to give you what is in this. Carroll, as an author, he actually introduced the pyramid, which talks about the responsibility you have as a company towards the society. Economic responsibility, legal responsibility, and ethical responsibility people have. Economic responsibility, what does it mean? When you talk about this responsibility, the first responsibility you have is to be economically feasible. You should have cash flow in your balance sheet. That's the first and foremost responsibility you have. Don't go for the donation. Don't go for the charity. First, make sure that you are actually having revenue in your balance sheet. That's the first responsibility. The second responsibility to that, you need to comply with the legal framework, right? We are talking about EIA. This is also talking about the legal framework. You need to make sure that your company, whatever you're doing, from the registration and the licensing and everything, you need to be under the legal framework. That's the second responsibility. The third responsibility of a company is to be ethical. Show the empathy, show the respect towards that. We were talking about airline, Air India, and what they have done is ethically responsibly. For example, a company coming to your village and they are saying that once they start, I will give you 100 people job. And they have done. They started the business and they proved that they are not giving any job. That's against the ethics. So you need to be ethical towards the society. That's what CSR talking about. The philanthropic responsibility talking about that caring towards that, the ultimate, this may not happen in every companies, but this is what the cream level of this pyramid, you can say. Be kind, be aware that you are using, the natural resources. Be empathetic. That's what philanthropic responsibility talking about. I'm not making you bored about this theory. You all know that. And Milton Friedman is one of great contribution towards economics. He got Nobel Prize in economics. He made a very contradicting statement towards CSR. What did he say? He said, you need to understand, when I'm reading this statement, you need to understand this is the person who got Nobel Prize in economics. He is the one who making this statement. Okay, he said that responsibility is for human. Company is not human. You don't need to be so responsible towards the society. One's contradicting statement. Second contradicting statement, he's saying that the duty of managers is to make profit. That's what they have to focus on. Don't focus on anything else. Give profit to the shareholders. Second thing. Third one, he made a statement that social issues are not issues of company. That's the issue of state. That's the issue of government. So why did I put this before, in between the presentation? Because I want you to understand there are so many contradicting statements by different people. So you need to keep those in account before discussing about this. I hope I'm still reminding that you are not getting bored by this so much, preaching things, but I hope you will make it a bit useful. And if you have any question, please, drop in comment box. So Alex Edman, he made a study regarding CSR, and he took a data from 1984 to 2011. And by the way, Alex Edman is from London Business School. He made a statement that the company with better workspace, they will make better profit. If you are treating your workers well, that will definitely make profit in future. That's what he made a statement. He took data from Fortune magazine of 100 best companies to work in America. And that's what he started his study. And what did he find? I'm directly going to the findings he did. 2.3 to 3.8% of return, better than the peer groups. They're saying whatever the data he took from, he's saying that those companies are making better performance than the peer group. It means 89% to 184% cumulative return. So it is real, based on his study, that if you treat your workers well, you will see that productivity increasing. So isn't it obvious that, if you treat your workers well, that will eventually make better performance? Why do we have to study about it? It is not at all obvious as we think. You know this guy who was actually dealing with the steering, right? This is Henry Ford, that the founder of Ford automobile, the car you see in the roads, he's the one who behind it. So what happened? This is an interesting story. I hope you will not get bored. After industry revolution, after that, the weekly hours of manufacturing workers, like the people who are working in manufacturing industry, were almost 100 hours per week. Will you be able to work for 100 hours per week? I don't think so. And it was like that. It means like 10 to 16 hours per day. People are actually in factories working, getting tired, going home just for sleeping. That's what the situation during that industry revolution. There were so many dehumanizing activities happened. One day, Henry Ford made a statement that we as a Ford company are reducing work days from 7 days to 5 days. The industry got surprised. What is he doing? He announced that from now on, we'll only work for 5 days. First announcement. Second announcement, he said that from now on, from 100 hours, we are actually reducing from 100 to 40 hours. 60 hours he got reduced. The whole industry got surprised. What is he doing? People thought that this will affect the entire industry. That actually happened. Everybody got the pressure to do the same. There were so many interpretations happened. Some people said that, okay, Henry Ford this because he cared for the people. Henry Ford is caring for the employee. That's why he did it. So the actual answer came from his own mouth. He said that we did because we are like in a car manufacturing companies. We need consumption in the market. If we want to sell one particular car to the market, we need to find a person who actually in need to ride that car. If a worker is working, if an employee, if a normal person is working 100 hours per week for 7 days continuously in factories, nobody will be on street, everybody will be in factories, right? So this is what struck his mind. Okay, let me give 2 days off to the people. So they'll be relaxed, they'll be free, and they will have the need of having a ride. They'll having a need of having a travel. And that's what the demand for car actually happened. So his idea was totally consumption. He wanted to increase the consumption. That's what happened. That actually happened statistically. So this I give you a spin-off example just to make you understand that the concept of treating workers changed drastically from earlier stage. You can't dehumanize people we have different organizations who are protecting workers now. So, and I'm summing up, I'm actually winding up by giving you the last topic: how do we measure sustainability? Okay, this should be a different webinar, because this need to take a different section, because this is a big topic. But let me focus on, there are variable organizations who are giving data for sustainability. You go to the website, you can access every data now. You take GRI, you take DJSI, you take Sustainalytics, you take Asset4, you take Truecost. These are the website you can go and you can access the sustainability indexes. Okay, just take an example of GRI. Yesterday I was talking to one research scholar. He said, can you please discuss more about GRI? And I told him that GRI should be a different topic. This will take a long, but I can only give you an introduction about GRI, what it is. What is GRI framework? As a company, if you're going for sustainability reporting, GRI will help you. How can you make the report? They will have their own framework, like GRI 300, GRI 200, GRI 400. They have different G4 guidelines or G3 guidelines or G2 guidelines. They have, this is started in 1997. This is the first global standard for sustainability reporting. So if you look at the graph, they will help you in reporting. They will train you. They will giving you the tools. How can you analyze? And they will make you in the community. So this is how that what they do. So this is the website. I'm not going into the website. If you want to get the data, actually you can go gri.com and you will see the database. Because if I go now, it will take more time. But instead of that, there is another indexes if you want. For example, if you click on this, I hope you can see that screen is sharing. And in Sustainalytics, I'm really sorry, my network is a bit slow. Yeah. So if you will come to this the website Sustainalytics, you go to the company ESG ratings. And you can type any companies, for example, Wipro. So you will see that. Thank you so much for your patience to wait for the result coming up. Yeah, you will see that Wipro result. The result didn't come yet, but anyway, and the result is supposed to come now. The blank space you have seen, they will be showing that ratings they have. Let me refresh it a bit more. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Oh, okay, what I want to tell you that if you want to get the data from Sustainalytics, go to this Sustainalytics.com. You go and you will type the company name and you will just browse it. You will see the ratings they have given for that particular company. And their rating is based on social activities. Their rating is based on the environmental activities. Their rating is based on the governance. ESG ratings they have done. So this is what I want to give you as a brief. I really know that I don't know whether did I cross the time limit, but let me stop sharing. Yeah, I think you can see me, right? Yeah. So thank you so much. I still can see 91 people over here. It means that people are actually bearing on me. Really, thank you so much. And I hope I really hope that I made a bit informative session. I know that it's very hard to be in front of a camera and telling you everything regarding this. I'm winding up. Thank you so much. I think if you have any queries, I don't know how the session will take place, but definitely I think somebody will come and ask for the questions. Okay, so should I look for the questions? Okay.
Sir, how can we measure sustainability in a startup? Sometimes startups are born with the purpose of developing and selling intellectual property rights. But the firm accomplished that, the firm ends its operation. Then is it possible to measure corporate sustainability in that case?
So, okay, thank you so much. Are you talking about how to measure the sustainability activities of a startup?
Yeah.
First of all, if you don't have a history in the business, definitely you won't have any footprint, right? So for the startup, like, are you talking about how to measure the startups, the corporate sustainability performance, or are you talking about how to look around? Can you please make it more specific? The question is, please.
Some types of startups are born with the purpose of developing IPR. Okay. So the purpose is over, the firm ends its operation. So once the operation is completed, how is it possible to measure the CSP?
Okay, as of now, what did I understand that? First of all, the basic misunderstanding is that CSP is about donating, or CSP is about treating the society, or it's not just like, the treating environment or treating the society. It's all about, if you are example, like IPR you talk about, if you are actually came up with that ideology, make sure that you are feasibly contributing towards your operations. If you're operating well, this is a one part of CSP. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So being sustainable it doesn't mean that you have to be more consistent in donating things to society, or like, showing being so much friendly with the environment. It is also talking about be consistent in the work. That's what the first thing. Another one, how to measure that CSP activities of the people who are coming in the business at first. First of all, it may not be possible to measure the CSP activities of companies if they don't have any history in the food, this one in the industry. And if you are not clear with my answer, I will definitely write my email ID here. So I think we may be able to discuss more about your questions. Yeah, and whoever writes the question, I really appreciate you, but can you be able to mail me regarding this so we can have an exclusive discussion?
Okay, sir. One more doubt.
Thank you.
What is your opinion about the current situation of industry in terms of sustainability? Do you have any suggestions for improving sustainability in this area with reference to various types of industry?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me when you ask me my opinion, let me tell you, I was watching a TED Talk. In that, the lady was saying, the person who was presenting that, being sustainable has been changed. The perspective have changed in corporate world. For example, what is sustainability in environmental perspectives different from corporate? So you can't keep the same level of sustainability in corporate, because you can't always focus on environment. You have to make a trade-off between shareholders as well as the stakeholders, right? So the opinion she mentioned that, which is also I agree, if you want to be sustainable in the market, show the cash flow, make sure that you have the proper cash flow in your balance sheet. If you have proper cash flow in your balance sheet, that is the first step towards sustainability. What do you mean by cash flow? Cash flow is not talking about profit. Cash flow is a bit more about wealth maximization. Because if you don't have better cash flow, you will not be able to sustainable in any way. You can't even treat your environment, you can't even treat your society if you don't have better cash flow. So my suggestion is that whoever is starting a business, make sure that you have proper cash flow.
കഴിയില്ല
Yeah, I hope I made some. So what is your opinion on the corporate sustainability report to be mandatory by the authorities? What is your opinion on the corporate sustainability report to the mandatory by the authorities? Is it, are you talking, who is Sijin AK? I hope you're talking about what is my opinion regarding the mandatory standards done by like people, right? So yeah, what I missed in this slide is that when I was showing you that one which the result didn't come out, you can also go for that country-wise sustainability reporting. India is still not explored that, even though we have a separate like environmental ministry or like an environment protection act and all, but still when it comes to CSR or when it comes to ESG, we still don't have a proper uniform standard for that, you know, the sustainability. For example, if I start a company, I have my own, like, you know, sustainability activities, and other companies have their own sustainability activity. It means that there is no uniformity. So it's very hard for the governance, it's very hard for the government to judge who is doing who and what is they are doing and who is doing better and all. So if you ask me my opinion regarding the authorities, I think that we should have a better, you know, the uniformal accessibility for the sustainability performance. And I still recommend whoever asked me the question, Shijin AK, I actually mentioned my email ID. So if you have any queries more regarding that, we can have exclusive talk. Is there any demographic relevance to adopt CSP? Like when a country is developing and all? I mean, definitely, you know, if you are actually starting a company in a developed countries, and if you are starting a company in developing countries, the differences are huge. Like I mentioned in the slide, the CSP has not been explored in like, you know, in developing countries, which means that people are not much aware about how like, you know, the companies are doing in sustainability activities. And if you specifically you ask me that is there a demographic relevance, definitely there are relevance. It's not just a demography, it's also about the people whom you're dealing with, you know, because if you're dealing with the people who are actually aware about the sustainability and environment protection, they will question you, and you need to convince them by providing the proper, like, you know, that evidence. And yeah, the answer is that definitely there is a relevance. And I'm still recommending that person. I really appreciate your question, and because I can also, you know, we can have exclusive chat in mail, because till now, let me tell you, this is not a closed discussion. This is I mean, it is a research perspective, so we can have more discussion. I can send you the article which is related to that. You can suggest me things, so we can keep in touch for this. Thank you, sir. Yeah, please don't call me sir. You can call my name. That's more appropriate. Welcome. Yeah, thank you. In investors' perspective, they are focusing on good return. Is that a drawback to companies? Okay. Okay, Vishnuti, there is something called, you must be familiar with the term called stakeholders theory, which simply means that every company should provide value towards the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? You know, you take about suppliers, you take about like employees, take about governance, or you talk about the government, everything, whoever related to this company, they called stakeholders, right? The stakeholder theory that's saying that no matter what, you need to give a value to this, you know, the stakeholder. So there is a balance conflict between stakeholder theory and being or providing the profit to the shareholders. As a shareholder's perspective, definitely they will always focus on the return. But definitely, you know, what is the question? In investor perspective, they are focusing on it. Definitely, they must be focusing on return. but that should not be a drawback to the company, because company is for what? Company is a separate entity from everyone. The shareholders is actually like part of the company, but company should live here for a long-term purpose. That's what we mentioned, that company is here for the long-term entity. So it should not be a drawback to the company. That's what my perspective that. So the ideology is that you need to make that balance of how to convince your shareholders by providing the values to the stakeholders. Yeah, Vishnuti, I really appreciate your question. You can also inquire the same question in my mail. How CSP affect the financial position of company? I think we have discussed about that, how CSP affect the financial position of company. We made a research perspective slide, which is explicitly talking about how the CSP activities are actually paying off. Okay, which means that the studies, I'm talking based on the studies, that some studies are saying that if you are sustainable in activities, if you are sustainable in society, if you are sustainable in environmental, that will pay you off in long-term return. For example, I talked about Merck, pharmaceutical company. They did not make profit in the earlier stage. They shared the secret with other companies. It means that they have done a sustainable activities, but for 20 years, statistically 20 years, they were just average company. When did they start making profit? After 20 years, the cash flow started increasing, the profit started increasing. So how CSP affect that? That's a tricky question that you won't get a proper answer. But if you are consistent in the sustainable activities, as a byproduct, that profit will also follow that company. And there are situations that the sustainable companies actually failed miserably in the industries. There are some case studies happened, but it's all based on how you deal with the sustainable activities. Yeah, and Muhammad Ashik Shirangan, that person can definitely mail me, because I have some articles to share with you. Thank you. It would be beneficial if you please share the slides to organizers so that we participate. Definitely, I would be really happy to do that. I'm so happy, still 94 people over here. Yeah, thank you so much for showing your patience. So if you guys don't have any questions, we can wind up the session. But definitely this will continue. I have my mail ID which is given. You can access.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Aslam. Let me welcome Sri Danesh Raghavan for the official vote of thanks.
Okay. As we know, corporate social sustainability is very relevant topic in the present scenario. The three pillars of corporate sustainability, or what we call sustainable measure, that is economic, social, and environmental, work together to help organizations. Individual, organization, and governments alike are increasingly prioritizing sustainability as an essential part of their policies. Corporations are even partnering with innovative green startups to help reach their sustainability goals. In these circumstances, this kind of presentation and discussions add value to corporate social responsibility. Our resource person done it well. I, on behalf of PG Department of Commerce and IQAC Majlis Arts and Science College Paramalur, and the entire fraternity here together, extend a deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to the eminent speaker, Mr. Muhammad Aslam CK, research scholar, Anadolu University, Turkey. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to express our profound gratitude to our principal, Dr. Muhammad Ali sir, Vice Principal sir, and Director sir. I also extend my gratitude to MLA Abid Hussain Tangal. I would also like to thank our beloved HOD, Mr. Rafiq P, for his valuable guidance. I am very happy to express a lot of thanks to all the participants, including teachers, research scholars, postgraduate students, and graduate students. Last but not the least, I express my deep sense of appreciation to Mr. V.K. Sharfuddin, the coordinator for the wonderful webinar. He worked a lot. I know he worked a lot. Without his hard work, it will not become a reality. Once again, thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Hello, hi guys. You can find actually you can find feedback form from comment session. Okay, please record your comment here and please fill feedback form to get your valuable feedback. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. Oh. ഞാനൊന്ന് വിളിച്ചടാ വീഡിയോയും കൂടി ചെയ്തിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ സെറ്റായി അത് മൂപ്പര് ഇതാക്കി ഇങ്ങനെ പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. എനിക്ക് ലാപ്പിന്റെ കാര്യം തന്നിട്ടില്ല. അന്ന് വിലക്കത് ഉണ്ടായതാണ് വലിയ സീനാണ്.